So hello, welcome back to the channel. Neymar has officially ruined his legacy. Let me tell you how. I mean, the guy's off to the Saudi League, but he's off to the Saudi League at 31. This is where he should really be at the peak of his powers, and he should really be established as one of the best players, if not the best player in the world, and yet it's all just kind of petered out for him. When you look at some of the players who have gone over to the Saudi League, you look at Ronaldo and Benzema. They're both a bit older, they've won the Ballon d'Or, Champions League multiple times. Benzema went for financial stability, Ronaldo went to try and enhance the league. Someone like N'Golo Kante, yes, he's only a year older than Neymar, but he has had many injury problems. He has been on the decline statistically and performance-wise. His time in Europe in the big leagues were probably done, so Saudi was a good call for him. Same with the likes of Jordan Henderson. His time at Liverpool slowly dwindling down, got a massive pay package. It makes sense for them to go over. Then you look at the likes of Ruben Neves, who has admitted he just went over for money. That's pretty much the same reason Koulibaly went over. Mendy, he was on the decline anyway. Firmino, Saint-Maximin, Mahrez, they all went for money, and they've all pretty much stated that that was the main reason for going there. So why is Neymar going now? Just a quick interruption to ask you to subscribe and share the video around. We're trying to hit 200 subs as soon as possible, so if you could do so, that would help out a lot. Right, let's get back into the video. PSG look like they're going to be getting 100 mil for him, which is absurd because Neymar is also going to be pocketing 100 mil a year with Al Hilal. Alongside that, he's going to get a private jet which can take him wherever, whenever he wants, a massive mansion with staff already there, about 80k for a win bonus, and he's going to get 500k per Instagram post that he promotes the Saudi League in. That's bonkers. Surely if you are actually Neymar, and that is actually true, you just post every 20 seconds or so saying, I love the Saudi League, it's great. I mean, that's unbelievable. But him moving to the Saudi League at 31, it is just sad. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of him or not, you cannot deny the talent that this man has. And when you really look back at it, this PSG move has been a disaster. Maybe not for the reasons you actually think, but as a total 6 years experiment experience, it's not worked out. And I think the main reason why it didn't work out is because he left Barcelona because he wanted to be the man. He didn't want to be in Messi's shadow. He really wanted to have his own team and win the Champions League with them. But I don't think he foresaw Kylian Mbappe coming from Monaco back to Paris at PSG and being the main guy there, because that's why Neymar was brought in, surely, to be the main guy to win them the Champions League. But then all the shift and focus went towards Mbappe, and I'm not slating that because they actually created a brilliant partnership. It's just that Neymar was back in the exact same position that he was at Barcelona, just now in a worse team and a worse league. And look, they obviously worked well together, and the team was slightly getting better because they did make the Champions League final against Bayern Munich. The problem was that Bayern Munich were unbelievable that year. They had a juggernaut team that could not be stopped, beating Barcelona 8-2 in the final. But it would have been really poetic if Barcelona could have just gotten through, and then it was PSG, Neymar's PSG against Messi's Barcelona. Then you would have really seen if the move was actually worth it. But they even brought in Messi from Barcelona, and they had a massive transfer window with the likes of Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos, Wijnaldum, Hakimi all coming in, and everyone thought, now they're going to win it. They just made the Champions League final, they've made all these signings, that's it, give them the trophy already, and then it never really worked for PSG again. And Neymar, it was never his team. That's the big problem. And look, it's not Messi's fault they didn't really win the Champions League, because that team as a whole, it just didn't work. It was individuals and superstars. It wasn't a team effort. Even when you had Messi, Neymar and Suarez, Messi would never go up and press. Neymar had to do a bit of the pressing, but it wasn't really up to him and it wasn't his game. Suarez was the real grafter, and it was the midfield and the defence that helped them out. And Mbappe, he's not really a pressing grafter either. All three of them have got such great talent that they didn't mesh well together the same way that MSN worked well together. Looking back from it, they should have kept Cavani, or if they thought Cavani was getting a bit old, they go for Martinez from Inter Milan, or they go and get Griezmann, who works brilliantly with Mbappe, which we've seen in the French squad, and would be a brilliant final piece up top for them. Look, I'll stop talking about PSG and their failures, because this is actually about Neymar, and Neymar, he shouldn't have left Barcelona. It's not the fact that he went to PSG of all teams, it's just the fact that he was in such a good situation at Barcelona. And why would he want to leave? I mean, I said the main reason he wanted to leave, he wanted to build his own team, and it wasn't going to work, because you look at the teams all around him. Yes, he went to PSG, but there wasn't another team where Neymar could go and win them the Champions League whilst being the man. Bayern Munich were never going to go in for him. The Italian league, which would have been the perfect league, didn't have any sort of money other than Juventus, but they were in a similar boat to Bayern Munich, just constantly winning the league. It was about the Champions League, and I wouldn't have worked out either. The Premier League, Neymar is not suited towards English football, and there were no real options for him. But even now, instead of going to the Saudi League, there's only one team that's interested in Neymar, and that is Barcelona, and they can't buy him because of financial fair play, so they're interested in a loan move. And I could have easily foreseen PSG wanting to get rid of him, bringing in the likes of Dembele, Ramos up top as well, Asensio, and they really look like they're building a team around Mbappe now to help him work, which is what they should have done ages ago. And Neymar's been left in the cold, and a loan move to Barcelona would have worked wonders for them. Go back to Barcelona, be the guy at the team that made you. I know Robert Lewandowski's there, but Neymar would have been the guy. He could have won them the Champions League potentially, and if he did that, who knows, he could have finally won the Ballon d'Or at either the age of 32, 33, maybe even 34. I know Haaland and Mbappe are on the rise, and they're the next two guys to win it, but if Neymar went back to Barcelona, won the Champions League with them, there's no reason why he couldn't and shouldn't be able to win the Ballon d'Or there. So him going to the Saudi League, it's sad, because Neymar is the best technical player that we have seen since Ronaldinho, and maybe even ever. Because look, I know you've got the likes of Messi, Cruyff, Maradona, Zidane, Pele, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, but Neymar is better technically than all those guys, and I don't really think that's up to too much dispute. I know that there will be debates about that, but he is better than them. Neymar has some problems that are his own and some that aren't. You know, the fact that he's injury prone, that's not his fault. You know, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, the fact that his body then crumples as well. But he does make poor decisions, but that is also because he wants to financially make sure that his family is alright. A lot of footballers do, and I don't have too big a problem with that, because at the end of the day, their careers are very short and they want to make as much money as possible. If he went to the Saudi League in 3-4 years' time, when he's 34, 35, I don't think anyone would really have too big a problem with that. Look at Benzema and Ronaldo. No one really has a problem with them going over there and finishing out their careers there. It's fine. They get the money, they get the financial stability. That's all well and good. I think Neymar, he's got enough money anyway. I think he really should have just taken a massive pay cut and either gone to Barcelona on loan, which is where he wants to go, or go to the Serie A. I know that they've not got the money for Neymar. I know that, and I'm not an idiot when it comes to that. But if he just bites the bullet and rejuvenates his career and the Serie A and makes it a lot more competitive and joins a team like an AC Milan, an Inter Milan and Napoli, we've seen Juventus plenty, don't go there, even a Roma with Jose Mourinho, then he can really compete with those teams, try and take them really far in Europe and try and win the Champions League there. And I think that would be a lot better for his legacy overall than joining the Saudi League. I mean, we had an all-Italian Champions League semi-final in the Milan derby, and I'm not saying that Neymar would go over there and they would win the Champions League, but it's a lot better if he goes over there to one of these teams and gets to a Champions League semi-final, maybe even a final with them, and is the main man who's playing well, it does his Ballon d'Or case as well a lot more than going to the Saudi League, where he will never finish in the top 10 ever again. And on the case of the Ballon d'Or, a lot of people say Neymar is one of the best players to never win the Ballon d'Or. I wouldn't necessarily say that. He's probably the most gifted player to never win the Ballon d'Or. But I look at Xavi, Iniesta, Schneider, Casillas, Buffon, Maldini. These are all players that deserve to win a Ballon d'Or. Thierry Henry even more than Neymar did. And Neymar has been in the top 10 6 times, he's been in the top 5 4 times, and he's been in the top 3, finishing 3rd place in 2015 and 2017 twice. And, 2017 was the last time he was even nominated in the top 10. If Neymar never leaves Barcelona, or let's say not never leaves, but he stays there another 3-4 years, I think he's got a case to win a Ballon d'Or, but he'd at least finish in the top 5 of voting at least 6-7 times in his career, and that is unbelievable, especially when you look at the all-time greats that have been in these 6-7 years that he's been there. Not many people can say they were in the top 3 6-7 years. Only really Messi, Ronaldo. But if he does stay for that time, the 3-4 years, I believe that Messi, Neymar, Suarez, they won at least one more Champions League together, and there's a big debate then if they are the greatest trio of all time, because I actually think that Benzema, Ronaldo and Bale are a better trio because they stayed for longer and they won a lot more in the Champions League, which realistically is the toughest competition in the world. And if Messi in 2017, where he finished 3rd, the last properly world-class season that he did have because of all the injuries and everything that he's had at PSG, if he is somehow player of the tournament and they somehow win the Champions League, he gets the 2017 Ballon d'Or. And that's it. That would have been his legacy. 2 Champions Leagues, a Ballon d'Or, and then he could go to PSG and he is remembered as one of the all-time greats, which I do not think he will be remembered as. Also, if he did stay at Barcelona, we could have had a possibility of an El Clasico Champions League final. Messi, Ronaldo again in the Champions League final. Who wouldn't have wanted that? Yes, he's won 5 leagues out of 6 at PSG, but that's quite embarrassing because they should have 6 out of 6. And it's like playing FIFA on beginner. It's not a very big accomplishment. He's only played in 47% of the available minutes in Ligue 1 over his 6 seasons there. He's got 2 Champions League knockout goals, and that came at the exact same match against Borussia Dortmund. And overall, what has he actually achieved at PSG? The only time that you ever really see Neymar's brilliance nowadays is when he's playing for Brazil. And yes, his Brazil record's unbelievable because he is Brazil's tied all-time top goal scorer with Pele on 77 goals, and he will pass that. I don't see a world where he doesn't get another goal for Brazil. I mean, yes, he's played 32 games more, but who cares about that? He's played more, but he's going to score more, so it's a very similar conversion rate. Overall, Neymar's played 497 games, got 294 goals, and got 190 assists. That's nearly a goal or an assist every single game. He won the 2011 Puskás Award for his goal at Santos. He's won 28 career trophies, 21 in Europe, 7 in Brazil, and he is a Champions League winner and Olympic gold medalist. But I still think he's the worst or second worst transfer of all time, just because it's not panned out the way he's wanted to. Without Neymar, PSG still win what they win. Maybe they don't get to a Champions League final, but they get really close to it at least. And I mean, Hazard probably is the worst for me, but Neymar is the most expensive transfer of all time, and it just never panned out for him. And it was his fault because he really should never have left Barcelona. To summarise this as a whole, Neymar, undoubtedly a great player, and he goes very under the radar. I think he is a very underrated player. I just don't think that you can put him in the all-time greats list because of his decision-making, his injury history, and the fact that he is a great overall talent, but he just what has he really done with his talent? Neymar is his own biggest enemy in a way, because his decision making has been poor, because he plays football with such freedom and such beauty that we haven't seen since Ronaldinho, but then he dives and he ruins it by doing that. Yes, he's very injury prone, but the brilliance that he shows on the pitch is unbelievable, and he is probably the biggest what if player in football history. So, that's my thoughts on Neymar and his legacy. Let me know what you guys think about Neymar and his legacy overall as a whole in the comments down below. Should he move to Saudi Arabia? Should he move back to Barcelona? Should he stay at PSG? What should he do? As well as that, thank you for getting this far in the video. If you could give a like, share it around and subscribe, it really helps the channel out a lot. Thank you for watching. Cheers.